So it's the 30th of January, it's Monday. I actually believe it's nearly the end of January and we're already nearly in February. But, you know, I've just been, every morning I sort of like get up, I have my breakfast and prep for work and stuff, make a packed lunch. And I sort of sort this part of my hair out a little bit so it's not too untidy. You know, the general sort of vanity shit in the morning. But while I'm doing that, I watch YouTube videos. And, you know, I watch Katie Hopkins, Russell Brand, fitness influencers, weird random things about the anatomy. Just random, okay? But just of late, the actual truthers channels, especially like Russ, he's having videos pulled when he's talking about a certain brand of there's been, I think Campbell's had another warning or something, but you know, reading actual scientific studies, because the information that they're reading from a fucking bastard study could be misleading. You know, at what point did everyone give up their right to make their own choice? You know, I know sometimes, you know, there's certain things that you might have to, like, you know, there's national security, so wars don't happen. There's certain things you don't really need to know, but there's levels, right? You know, you understand that there might be some kind of unjust, you know, secrecy right up here, but not to the point to influence you to buy a certain thing so you make that corporation a bit more money. It's like, someone shared something on Facebook today, a friend of mine, something to do with blackouts in the UK to save money, right, or to do with the environment. It's like, electricity is electrons that move around and are positively charged, I think, and they flow to negative, something like that, like water. So that's why when you put them onto a metal circuit, they flow in a direction and they go through the chip and then through whatever pathways are open and then into the resistor, and either resist to make them higher ohmage resist to make them less ohmage. It's ohmage or voltage, I can't remember which way around, or capacitate to make them bigger. You sort of fill it up into a chamber so you can put one bolt of charge out. That's how you increase and decrease voltage, right? It's just water flowing and you kind of section it off with little things, and it's exactly the same as how air works and how water works, but the flow of electricity is done by the charge, right? So everyone's played with magnets. You know, we live on a fucking rock that spins, apparently, and has a positive middle, like a core, and it's a battery. It's a great big fucking battery. That's why when you take two magnets and put two positives together, they repel. When you put two negatives together, they repel. They push away. There's a force, isn't there? There's a force of movement. But when you put positive and negative together, they come together. Well, how do you think you recharge electricity? With an electromagnet. You know, these wind turbines, like, so you put uranium into another bit of metal, I think it is. It has to be in water. That has a reaction that creates steam, which rises at a force, which turns a fucking fan round, which then in turn turns an electromagnet round to charge the cunting electricity up and let it off down the fucking line. That's how electricity is made. So can't we just recharge it in a fucking loop? Of course we can, but they don't want you to have that, because then that would make money. It's like, you only have to look back to, you can't, you know, running cars on ethanol. The first Ford motor car was supposed to be run on ethanol, which is a byproduct of hemp, which is what everything that was plastic before oil was discovered was made from. A plant that grows naturally, that's sustainable. And it can grow by anyone, so therefore it doesn't particularly make a massive amount of money. And then what happened? They found oil. And then all of a sudden, these people who found the oil tarnished the name of anyone who used hemp, including the other type of hemp that gets you stoned. So it's all bad. That's perfect because that gets you stoned. We could put that in the same category because they're brothers and sisters. So no one's allowed to fucking use them. You might as well use oil. And then you use oil, make a load of fucking plastic, cause environmental fucking cesspit of fucking pollution that we cause because the corporations that are responsible for the oil didn't take responsibility for recycling their shit to start with. And then they make more money off us and then have the audacity to say, we're fucking up the environment because of their oil. Right, so we're going to let them do this again with electricity. Like everyone's got electric cars, right? Why are cars not run on air? Pressurised air. Anyone do pneumatics at school? Oh, how could you repressurise the air of the waste of the pressurised air I've used to pressurise the cylinder? Anyone knows how a car works? Cylinders go up and down like that and you push it up, you have an explosion and the next one comes down on a rotary thing in all different levels, right? So it doesn't matter if you use air, does it? Right? So if you're putting air, pressurised air, you've got air in a fucking tube that's pressurised with enough force to push the pistons up and down more times than it takes for the output of it, which is air, right, because it comes out the exhaust. You then repressurise it again into another canister that then's the backup fuel for the next. Obviously, you would have to occasionally put a pressurised air canister on, and you might even have to go and get pressurised air from somewhere, right? But you could actually make quite a lot of pressurised air. But the people who've done that, their patents are taken away, or they miraculously die on an aeroplane, or oh, car stoppers. No, you can't run a car on water. I said to my mum when she was younger, when she was younger, she probably was, but when I was younger, we was talking about petrol. I must have been under 12 because we lived in Oakley, and she said something about petrol, and I went, said this in a video before, why don't we run cars on water? And my mum's like, because water doesn't explode. I went, it does. I said, water's 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. So if you remove the hydrogen from the oxygen, which you do with that experiment where you take a test tube, you turn it upside down, and you put it over something, and it evaporates. No, you don't. What do? You boil something, don't you? You boil something and you boil the water and capture it under a test tube upside down, and at the top of the test tube is the gas, the hydrogen. You get a match and you put it up a bit, and it goes poof and plops because there's hydrogen being collected. So you can actually make hydrogen from. I said, why don't they just make a car that makes hydrogen from water and just put water in it? It's not like there isn't a vast quantity of water around the planet. I know it's got salt in, but that's easier to remove than you think. But they make that sound complicated too, because can't let you think for yourself, can we? Can't let you know. God forbid you grow your own fucking fuel in your garden and your own food and become self-sustainable and not have to worry about getting anything from out there, because then they don't make money, do they, or have any form of control. And it's like, at what point, right? You know, I know that in the wild you have to kind of, the survival of the fittest, I know there's an element of that, but when you've got a fucking rock that's overpopulated already, you can argue a toss whether it is or not, but overpopulated for the kind of lifestyles we want to sustain, why don't we just all learn to be a bit nicer and share it? Then we won't fuck it up and go extinct as quick, will we? Just a thought that the human race might have there. Peace, love and light.